What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Coders channel. So today I thought I'd do something a little bit different because I'm having a few problems with my YouView box. Now the YouView box, when it switches on, goes into a little bit of a boot loop, and then it asks me to recover the software, which is telling me that the hard drive's faulty. Done a little bit of digging online, and I found out that it's a standard 2.5-inch drive that's in these BT UV boxes. So I thought I'd do a little video of how to repair and replace the hard drive, and hopefully we can get it working again. Alright, so before we start, we're going to just show you what's happening with the YouView box when we turn it on. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn the TV on here, and then we're going to turn on the YouView remote, the YouView box. I'm going to turn it on at the back first, so you should see the lights start to shine up now. And the lighting is really not very good here, but you can see that there. So this is the YouView Ultra HD 4K version, and it's got a 1TB 2.5-inch hard drive. It's capable of recording in 4K. We're not using a 4K TV, but that's fine. We don't need to use the 4K. So we're just going to switch this on now and just show you what's happening with that. So the light turns up blue, and as you can see straight away the resolution isn't set correctly, and we've got a little, I'll presume it's some sort of a firmware identifier in the top corner. And as you can see there, it just goes into maintenance mode as soon as we start it, and it comes up with software reset, which is apparently recommended. Factory reset with keep recordings, factory reset delete recordings, internet/USB recovery, and internet/USB recovery again. So you see there in the top corner we've got maintenance mode, and then we've got the system identification, which I presume is going to be the firmware number. And then at the bottom we've got the version, which is 0.69p, and then the up, down, cancel, etc, etc. Alright, so once we're ready to start opening up the plastic surround, the first thing that we're going to want to do is figure out where all the screws are on the plastic or on the surround. So before I started this video, I actually removed a sticker from this box just to uncover all the screws. This is just for simplicity, and so I can show you where the screws were. So the warranty void if removed sticker, if we face the box so as the I/O ports are facing towards us, then in the top right hand corner you'll see a little square where there's a sticker, and underneath that there is a screw. So we've got one screw there, we've got one screw there, another one there, and another one there. So 4 in the corners, pretty simple. And then on the back we also have one more screw which looks like it's holding the plastics together, and that will be this top screw here that's just at the side of the HDMI logo. The reason I say that one's holding the plastics is because we can clearly see that these two are holding the fan. This one is holding the HDMI port, this one is holding the SP diff, and then that's pretty much it. First of all, what we're going to want to do, like I say, is just remove the plastics, and then we can get to the insides. So we're going to want for this just a simple Phillips screwdriver. I'm using a multi-adapter screwdriver. Whoops. I'm using a multi-adapter screwdriver where I can just change the head, but a standard Phillips screwdriver should do the trick. So there are no fancy Torx bits in this device. Okay, so we're going to start by removing the 4 screws on the bottom. So the 4 screws are loosened, so we're going to go ahead and just pick them out. Now this screwdriver I'm using isn't magnetic. It would be easier if you have a magnetic screwdriver, although I don't know whether they will be any good because the screws have got black paint on them, I think. I'm not really sure if they're going to be any good. We'll try that one last. Haven't got any nails, unfortunately, or any long nails at least. Okay, so the 3 have come out quite easily. I can just tip it up for this last one and just tap it very carefully, just not to damage any more components, just to give it a little bit of a loosen. That's not having it. Alright, that should get it. There we go. Okay, so the 4 screws on the bottom are removed. Next thing we're going to want to do, like I say, is just remove this top screw from here, because that is definitely going to be holding the plastics in, and it's going to be a little bit difficult holding the camera, but I will try and get it. Whoops. Okay, so we've removed them screws, and actually this screwdriver is magnetic, but it's not really holding them screws. Alright, we've removed those 5 screws, so let's take a look inside. This is going to be very difficult for me to do. I can see the hard drive. Oh, okay. Alright, so as soon as we open the case, we're presented with this cable that's connected to the plastic connector, which looks like it's going to the power and menu switches, or the PCB for the power and menu switches. So we're just going to need to remove that so as we can move this plastic that's in the way at the minute. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. It's a little bit tight. There we go. Alright, so if we just take a look at that, that's got the PCB for the power, which runs to the main board. Alright, so there's not really a lot in here. We can obviously see the hard drive, which we're going to try and change in a minute. It does look like it is just a standard 2.5 inch drive. Looks like we've got a heatsink here which is covering the CPU. Now I can see a screw just behind here. So there's a screw just where the screwdriver is pointing there. So that looks like it's going to be holding the main board in. So it looks like the 4 screws that we unscrewed earlier and this 1 screw here holds on the main board. So I'm just going to remove that before we go any further. And that's quite loose actually. Didn't expect that one to be that loose, but never mind. And that's actually really awkward to get to because of the heatsink being right next to it. So we're going to put that screw with the rest, but we're going to put it separate so we know where it goes, and that one should be separate as well. So far relatively straightforward, just 6 screws at the moment. Alright, so there we go. So the main board has come out now. If we look on the back, I can see another 4 screws which are clearly going to be holding the hard drive in. As you can see, that lines up perfectly with where the hard drive screws would be. So we're going to go ahead and remove them. Alright, so I've loosened them as much as I can. They don't seem to be loosening anymore. So, and yet the hard drive is, oops, hard drive is just sliding up now, or falling up. So, I'm going to try. There we go. Okay, that was relatively simple. So, hard drive is out. So that, again, this, according to a little bit of research, the hard drive is faulty. So hopefully this should fix the problem. Alright, so I've done a little bit of searching, and unfortunately I can't find a 1TB hard drive that I've got available to use to replace the terabyte hard drive that's just been taken out. So unfortunately I'm going to have to try and replace it with a 160GB Western Digital Blue. So this is again just a normal standard 2.5-inch laptop hard drive, and this 100% works. So I have just done a fresh format and copied some files over on it, so fingers crossed it should work and we should be able to get this up and running again. Alright, so to replace the hard drive, it's just going to be a standard reversal of what we've just done. So we're just going to slot this hard drive in here. Remember, because these screws don't actually come out, we need to slot the hard drive in over the screws, so as the screws just land inside the holes in the hard drive. So that should be lined up perfectly, and we're going to go ahead and screw this in and see if we can get it back in. So again, this is going to be really awkward with just one hand, but I am going to try. And what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to put something underneath here to keep this in line here, just so as I can hold the camera and screw the screws in at the same time. So I'm going to try and just balance it on here, just so as the remote pushes the hard drive down, just so as I can get a bite on the screws. So I'm going to be really careful here. They feel like they're going in. Again, like I say, better to use two hands. Unfortunately I need to hold the camera with one, so I'm not going to be able to. So I'm going to go ahead and just put that first one's in. So I'm going to go ahead and put the other corner in, and that should balance it out enough so as I can get the other two in. When you're putting screws in, it's always best to go corner to corner anyway, because it keeps the balance nice and even. It stops the screws from becoming cross-threaded, or it doesn't stop it, but it helps reduce the chances of the screws becoming cross-threaded, and it ensures that no damage is done to your drive. So these are biting nicely, and I will tighten them up properly in a second. I'm just putting them in evenly for now. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and move this remote out of the way, and I'll remove the plastic as well, just so as I can get a nice even surface, so as I can screw this in properly. It's nice and tight. Again, in a cross motion, and don't worry about that little noise there. It was just a screwdriver slipping on the screw itself. Didn't actually touch the PCB, so it's fine. Alright, so let's fire this up and see if it works. So I'm not going to put the plastic back on. I do need to put the top on because it's got the sensor in as well, so I'm not going to be able to control the remote otherwise. So I am going to put the plastic in. So this plastic clip, it just slots in to the clip on the board. So unfortunately I can't get the angle. I don't think I can get the angle on the camera. You can vaguely see it, but not the best angle shot. But I am going to try and get this in one-handed. There we go. And you hear that click. So that's in. Try not to apply much pressure, because we don't want to damage any wires. So as you can see, the wire just goes in normal, just the way it was in before, with the wire leading from the PCB to the main board. Alright, so let's fire this up and see what we've got. Just a little bit of information then. So it seems like the actual hard drive stores the main operating system, which is a pretty terrible design by BT or YouView or whoever the hell made this. Just for the simple fact that if your hard drive does fail, then you're obviously losing all your settings, you're losing pretty much everything, all of your customizations and things like that, which is really annoying. But at the same time, the hard drive shouldn't really fail that often. This is a brand new box and it really shouldn't have failed, but unfortunately it did. Probably just a faulty hard drive, or they've used a refurbished hard drive or something like that, and it's just gone bad. Never mind. Alright, so we've got a light on the actual box. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. It should pick the sensor up. There we go. So we've still got the recovery screen by the look of it. But again, like I say, this is going to be the fact that it needs to recover itself because the operating system was on the hard drive. I presume it's got a backup ROM on a flash chip somewhere, somewhere on the actual board. But never mind. So again, as we see, we've got the software reset, which we're just going to do a software reset and do the recommended. Select confirm or cancel, press OK. Okay, so let's run through the setup and just try and get everything working. So we're going to click on start setup. Broadband connection unavailable. We can't connect. Yeah, that's because there's no internet. Oh, I presume we've got to have internet to get it started. So I'm just going to get some internet. I'm going to get one of those power adapters, and I'll be back. Alright, so we've got one of these power line adapters. Again, this is from BT, and these was actually provided with this YouView box. Wiring's a little bit of a mess right now, but that's fine. Alright, there we go. So we've got some internet in the kitchen now. That's a rarity for me. Okay, so update available. This is not going to take very long because of my internet connection. 300 megabit internet. Should be okay. I am going to go ahead and pause the video for this because I do need to charge my phone a little bit. Alright, so it seems like everything's almost complete. Updates are complete and it really didn't take that long. So, as you can see in the top corner there, got the continue button. We're going to go ahead and select the power mode as smart. We're not going to pick up any TV channels apart from the internet enabled. Reason for that is we haven't got any aerial connected. I'm not about to wire something up just to be able to do that. So it looks like everything's back up and running. We are going to go ahead and go into the settings in a minute and see what the hard drive status is. Alright, yep, no channels found, so it seems to be working fine. The reason there's no channels found is just because there's no aerial connected. So it's just adding the finishing touches now. Setup seems to be complete. The hard drive repair or replacement was a success. So we're going to go ahead in a minute and just put the plastics back together to show you how to do that. And then that's it. Okay, so finishing touches complete. I'm going to go ahead and see if we can access the menus now, just so as we can take a look at the settings and things like that, or the system status. I don't actually know how to use this, to be honest. Players and apps. Let's go to UK TV play. I'm not going to play something because I don't want any copyright strikes. I'll play it for a second, but that's about it. Wow, the settings on this are really, really bad. So you really can't see much on this screen at all. Confirm, okay. Alright, that's working. We're going to go back to home. Go to settings. Device information. Doesn't look like we can see the hard drive. No, so it doesn't look like we can actually see what hard drive we've got in here. But yeah, everything seems to be working. It seems to be okay. So we're going to go ahead and put this thing back together. So first of all, to put it back together, of course we need to turn it off. Don't want to be causing any shorts or giving any shocks. I'm just going to unplug all of the leads from the back. So that's the Ethernet lead, the power lead and the HDMI lead, and that's really, really warm, to be fair, considering it's only been on for a short while. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is, well, first of all, we're going to get rid of all of that, and then we need to place this board onto the bottom plastics. So I think it goes over there. Yep. Okay. And yep, that's it. I need to put the screw in. Okay. So I'll just find out the screws here. I've got 3, 4. So that one is going to be for here. So the smallest screw, oops. The smallest screw is going to be for at the side of the heatsink. And then next we want to put the top over. Just clip it in. There we go. Next is going to be the screw at the side of the HDMI logo, and without dropping it, so this is going to be the second size screw, so the second biggest screw, and there we go. And now onto the bottom, the 4 screws in the corner, or in the corners. So again, same as before with the screws on the hard drive, we're gonna go corner to corner here. Avoid putting too much pressure on the threads. Alright guys, there we have it. That is how we change the hard drive and reconfigure a YouView Ultra HD 4K box from BT. I presume it's going to be the same with all the Ultra HD boxes and probably the other boxes as well. Alright guys, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. and leave me a comment down below. But until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again soon. Alright, bye for now.